Six p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Hassan Gilani. First, the headlines. Caretaker Information Minister has categorically said that general elections will be held on February 8. The deadline for filing of nomination papers for National Assembly and 4 provincial assemblies will conclude tomorrow. President has emphasized the need for joint efforts and change in attitude to mitigate effects of climate change. 76 members of an extended Palestinian family have been murdered in continued barbaric Israeli airstrikes in Gaza. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, occupation troops in their fresh acts of state terrorism have martyred 4 Kashmiris in Poonch and Jammu districts. National Disaster Management Authority has directed to establish emergency control rooms at tourist spots in view of expected snowfall. And now the news in detail. Caretaker Minister for Information and Broadcasting Murtaza Solanki has categorically dismissed doubts about change in the election schedule. Talking to media persons in Islamabad today, he said general elections will be held on 8 February 2024. The minister said future of the country is linked with the constitution and democracy. He said it is written in the preamble of the Constitution of Pakistan that this country will be run by its elected representatives. The information minister said the constitution does not allow the extension in caretaker government's term. Only the Election Commission of Pakistan has the authority to change and extend the date of polling for elections. The deadline for filing of nomination papers for the national and 4 provincial assemblies will conclude tomorrow. The Election Commission of Pakistan had extended the date for the filing of the nomination papers for the upcoming general elections till Sunday. As per the schedule, scrutiny of the nomination papers will be carried out from Monday to the 30th of this month. Appeals against the acceptance or rejection of nomination papers can be submitted until 3rd of January, and decisions on these appeals will be made by 10th of January. The list of candidates will be displayed on 11th of January, and candidates would have the option to withdraw until the 12th of January. Caretaker Minister for Information and Broadcasting Murtaza Solanki has urged officers of Information Group to play their responsible role in countering propaganda of inimical forces and promote and project Pakistan's soft and positive image. He was addressing graduation ceremony of training programs in Islamabad. He said that in the age of propaganda, narratives and counter-narratives, the importance of job of the officers of Information Group has increased manifold. President Dr. Arif Alvi has emphasized the need of joint efforts to mitigate the effects of global warming and climate change. Speaking at a climate change conference in Karachi today, the president said the human race is responsible for the change in climate and global warming. He emphasized that attitudes need to be changed. He said, "We have used the world's resources for centuries without thinking of the consequences. But now it is time that we take the matter seriously and stop the wastage of these resources." Dr. Arif Alvi said that the corporate sector has a larger responsibility in this regard. Pakistan and Spain have agreed to enhance bilateral cooperation in all domains. The agreement was reached at a meeting between Pakistan's ambassador to Belgium, Luxembourg, and the European Union, Amna Baloch, and permanent representative of Spain to the European Union, Marcos Alonso, in Brussels. During the meeting, both sides exchanged views on areas of bilateral interest. The governor of Punjab, Muhammad Balighur Rahman, has said that the minorities enjoyed religious freedom and equal rights in Pakistan. He was talking to a delegation of the Sikh community from United States and Canada in Lahore today. He said atrocities against innocent civilians, especially women and children in Palestine, are extremely painful. On this occasion, Sikh member Dr. Ashok Pavra said the recent International Punjabi Conference in Lahore was a great effort for the promotion of Punjabi language. Draw of application received under regular Hajj scheme will be held on Thursday. Spokesperson for Ministry of Religious Affairs in a statement said over 66,000 applications were received under the regular Hajj scheme. He said the last date for sponsorship scheme has been extended till 31st of this month on the insistence of overseas Pakistanis. This is Radio Pakistan. Speakers at a seminar in Rawalakot have said that illegal actions of Indian government on August 5, 2019 and the decision of the Indian Supreme Court cannot change the disputed status of Jammu and Kashmir. The seminar was organized under the aegis of Pasbane Hurriyat Jammu and Kashmir in connection with the Right of Self-Determination campaign. Speakers said that the Kashmiri people have been demanding the implementation of the UN Security Council resolutions passed 7 decades ago. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, occupation troops in their fresh act of state terrorism have martyred 4 Kashmiris, including 3 in custody in Poonch and Jammu district. Indian troops had arrested 3 civilians identified as Safir Hussain, Muhammad Shaukat and Shabir Ahmed during a cordon and search operation in Surankot area and martyred them in custody. The 4th youth was martyred by Indian troops during a search operation in Akhnur area of Jammu district today. The custodial killing of the civilians triggered protests in the district. The protesters demanded an international probe into the killing of Indian authorities and have suspended mobile internet services in Poonch and Rajouri districts. Additional police and paramilitary personnel have been deployed in the 2 districts. Meanwhile, all parties Hurriyat Conference spokesmen in a statement in Srinagar strongly condemned the custodial killing of innocent people by Indian Army. People's Democratic Party President Mehbooba Mufti, talking to media men in Srinagar, deplored that troops are committing the worst state terrorism in the territory. On the other hand, a teenager was killed and another injured when a mortar shell exploded in Chandali area of Samba district. 76 members of an extended Palestinian family, including women and children, have been martyred in continued barbaric Israeli airstrikes in Gaza. According to the Civil Defense, latest airstrike on a building in Gaza City was among the deadliest. The martyrdom toll of Palestinians in Israeli aggression on Gaza and occupied West Bank has now risen to over more than 20,000 and more than 53,000 have been wounded since October 7. Meanwhile, Israeli forces arrested at least 8 Palestinians, including 2 children, across the occupied West Bank in overnight and morning raids. According to Commission of Detainees Affairs and Palestinian Society Prisoners Club, with these arrests, the total number of arrests stands at over 4,600 since October 7. The National Disaster Management Authority has directed concerned institutions to establish emergency control rooms at tourist spots in view of the expected snowfall. According to NEMA spokesperson, departments have been directed to ensure special measures in tourism areas of Mari, Galyat, Ziarat, Naran, Kagan, Chitral, Gilgit-Baltistan, Azad Jammu and Kashmir. Similarly, instructions have been issued to establish information centers for the safety of tourists in the concerned areas. The NDMA has directed to evolve timely alert and response with the help of local representatives in vulnerable areas. And finally, the weather. Mainly cold and dry weather is expected in most parts, while partly cloudy and very cold in northern parts of the country during the next 12 hours. However, light rain, light snowfall over mountains is likely at isolated places in Gilgit-Baltistan and Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Dense fog and smog is likely to persist in plain areas of Punjab, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Upper Sindh. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.